So what if you could build a machine that actually invents things? I'm not talking about just one thing, but a machine that could solve some of humanity's biggest, thorniest challenges, everything from energy independence to national security. Well, today we're going to dive into a real-life government initiative that's trying to do exactly that. It's called the Genesis Mission. Okay, let's just jump right in with a number that really sets the stage. Over $320 million. And that's just the initial investment from the Department of Energy. It's all designed to fuel the artificial intelligence at the very heart of this mission and get this incredibly ambitious project off the ground. And believe me, this isn't being treated as just another government program, not by a long shot. The White House executive order that kicked this whole thing off makes a really powerful comparison, calling it a historic national effort with the same urgency and ambition as the Manhattan Project. Now, that comparison isn't just for show. It's a signal that in an age of intense global competition, this is being framed as an absolute must-do for national leadership. So, what is this new Manhattan Project for the 21st century? Well, it's not about building a single weapon. No, it's about building an engine for discovery itself. At its core, the mission is creating something called the American Science and Security Platform. Now, think of it like this. It's a single, unified brain that connects all 17 of our national labs, all their supercomputers, all their massive troves of data, and combines that power with the speed and agility of private industry. And the goal? It's absolutely massive, to double the productivity of American science in just 10 years. So, how does this discovery engine actually work? See, it's not just about building faster computers. It's about creating a completely autonomous loop. First up, an AI that's been trained on decades of data comes up with a new scientific hypothesis. Then, and this is wild, robotic labs physically test that idea, running experiments around the clock 24/7. Next, supercomputers run simulations to validate the results. And here's the real kicker. All of that new data gets fed right back into the AI. It learns, it gets smarter, and it generates an even better hypothesis the next time around. What you have is a self-driving laboratory designed to shrink research that used to take years down to months or maybe even weeks. All right, so you've built this incredible discovery engine. What monumental problems do you point it at? Well, these aren't just academic puzzles. We're talking about challenges that are central to our national and economic security. The mission is laser-focused on 20 specific moonshots, these high-stakes challenges where the U.S. is facing some really intense competition. And just look at a few of them. Finally getting a commercial nuclear fusion plant designed, creating powerful magnets without having to rely on foreign rare earth metals, or training an AI that can design biodefenses against new threats almost instantly. They're even using AI to speed up the approval for the new reactors we need to power the very data centers this whole mission runs on. Now, to solve problems this big, you know the government can't do it alone. This isn't some secret project being built in a bunker somewhere. It requires a massive coalition, a team-up of innovators from the private sector. And you can see the sheer scale of this public-private partnership right here. I mean, the brain of this operation includes all the biggest names in AI you'd expect: NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI. Then you have the leaders in energy and materials, plus all these cutting-edge startups building the robotic labs and advanced hardware that make up the body of this discovery engine. But here's where it gets really interesting. For some of these moonshots, especially in areas like material science and biosecurity, even our most powerful supercomputers today, they're just not going to cut it. And that, my friends, is where we have to enter the quantum realm. You see, classical computers are amazing at optimization and data analysis. They're incredible. But some of these challenges, like designing a brand new molecule for a drug or a high-temperature superconductor, they aren't optimization problems. They are simulation problems. You literally have to simulate nature at its most fundamental, quantum level. And to do that, you need a different kind of tool, a quantum computer, which operates on the exact same weird principles as the molecules you're trying to figure out. This deep reliance on AI also opens up a critical vulnerability, what's being called a verification and security gap. I mean, how can you completely trust the discoveries made by a black box AI? And how do you protect all this incredibly valuable data from future quantum computers that could, just shatter today's encryption? This is exactly why the mission needs partners with real quantum expertise, not just to make discoveries, but to double-check the AI's work and to secure the entire platform. Which, of course, leads to a very fair question. With all the hype flying around about quantum computing, how do you separate what's real progress from just clever marketing? How do you actually know if a quantum computer is a real, functional scientific instrument? Well, luckily, the scientific community has a gold standard for this, and it's known as DiVincenzo's criteria. Think of it as a really, really tough checklist. It's not enough to just have a lot of qubits. You have to be able to control them, reset them, and perform any operation you want. They have to stay stable long enough to actually finish a calculation. And then you have to be able to accurately measure the result, and this is the big one. You have to be able to correct for all the errors that will inevitably pop up in these incredibly delicate systems. This is the yardstick the mission is going to use to measure its quantum partners. So when you bring all of this together, the AI, the autonomous robotics, the quantum computing, all inside the Genesis mission, you start to realize this is way more than just an upgrade to our scientific tools. It represents a fundamental shift in the scientific method itself. It's a move away from purely human-led discovery and into a whole new era of human-machine partnership. And all of this leaves us with one final, kind of mind-bending thought. The Genesis mission is, at its heart, an ambitious attempt to build an invention machine. But what does it mean for science and for all of us when that invention machine starts inventing on its own? That's a question we might have to answer a lot sooner than we think.